guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make your own yarn wall hanging. So you're going to need, sorry, my roommate's dog decided to be in the video. And we're good. Alright, so here are the things you're going to need. You're going to need 3 different colors of yarn, a 10-inch metal floral hoop, your choice of leaves, foliage, craft flowers, just anything you want for around the hoop, and some fabric scissors. I recommend fabric scissors just because it's easier to cut the yarn with fabric scissors rather than other scissors. So at first I thought I was going to wrap yarn around the entirety of the hoop, so I was just trying to figure out which color yarn the eucalyptus looked best with, but I ultimately decided to go for more of a bare, minimalistic look with just putting the eucalyptus on top of the metal itself without wrapping it or coloring it in any way. So next what you're going to want to do is decide which color yarn is going to be your base color. This will be the color that is the most on the hoop. So I'm taking my base color, I chose gray, and I'm trying to figure out how long I want the yarn to hang off of the hoop. You can make this any length, but rather you should go longer rather than shorter because you can always give it a little haircut at the end. So once you have your length, fold the yarn in half so you double the length, cut it so you have a piece of yarn twice as long as the length you want, because that little loop on the end is going to be really important on how we attach it. So you're going to slip the loop underneath the hoop, open it up, and pull the 2 strings through the looplet that you made. And then pull it tight. I will show me doing this again in a closer up version in just a second. You're going to want to take yarn all the way around the hoop, so we got to get cutting a whole bunch of yarn. But first, let's play a little bit of music, because we're going to be here for a while.
I got deja vu when I saw you at a table at a road spa set for 2. With that look in your eye when you smile like you always do. But this time it wasn't me that was sitting there next to you, to you. But I'll be fine. It might take a little time, but I think that'll be the line that I'll say to my friends.
Alright, so once I've finished cutting as much yarn as I think I'm going to need, you can always cut more later. You're going to fold the pieces in half, have a loop on one side, tuck that loop under the hoop, and then pull the 2 strings through. And here, I'll show a close-up version of me doing that again. So fold the string in half, take the looped side over the ring, and then pull the strands through. And you're going to want to continue doing this with all of your gray.
Now I see him in your pictures and it gets me overwhelmed. But if you ask me how I'm doing, I would say I'm doing well. I'm doing well. But I'd be lying.
So this is what my hoop looks like after I've tied on all of my gray. I didn't have to add more or take away some. I liked just how it looked. So now we're going to cut our accent colors. I decided to make my beige a little bit shorter than my gray. I'm still cutting and folding it in the same manner, and we're going to attach it in the same way too. So after I have all of my beige cut, I'm going to move on to my blue, which I decided to make the blue even shorter than the beige, just to add a little bit of texture to my wall hanging.
Was I taking my time or just you for granted? When I fell for you, I never planned on landing. But I pretend I'm good till I'm the last man standing. I'll say I'm fine. I'll say I'm fine.
Once I finished cutting all of my yarn, I was ready to start putting it on the hoop. So I took the beige and I wanted to kind of intersperse it throughout the gray pretty evenly. So I went along the hoop and just started putting some in where I thought it would look good, and then I filled in the spaces between.
I think it's out of time. It's out of time.
In the end, I ended up spacing my beige pieces of yarn about every 2, 3, or 4 strands of gray, just so that it would be pretty even. So once I was happy with that, I went in and added my blue in about the same manner. So once that was done, I was ready to go in and add some texture. So how we're going to do that is we're going to add in 3 little braids. So just take 3 strands of gray and just start braiding them. I did this in 3 different places on my wall hanging. I did 1 braid on the right side, 1 on the left, and 1 on the middle. I did tie them in different places on the bottom, so the braid lengths are actually a little bit different, just to give it a little more texture. I wanted to go in and do a little something else too, so I took all of my blue strands and I tied a few knots in them. I tied 1 knot at the top and 1 knot more at the bottom. This just, again, gives it a little more texture, just something else to look at without adding a whole bunch of beads or tassels or pom-poms or anything, still sticking with the minimalistic look. So once you've gone in and finished braiding and knotting, just kind of comb out your wall hanging a little bit because it will get a little bit tangled, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So once you're done with the yarn, it's time to add on your foliage. My eucalyptus came in clumps already, and I thought that it would be pretty easy to just put it on the hoop as it was, but the sticks that the eucalyptus came on were too thick and too hard to bend, so I just decided to take all of the little pieces apart and just add them on one by one. Having all the little pieces was super helpful and made it really easy to arrange my little side half moon wreath in the way that I wanted. So once you have an idea of where you want yours, I put mine on the left side of the hoop. You could put yours on the bottom, on the top, you could cover the whole thing with it, whatever you want. Grab your hot glue gun and just start gluing. This part did take me a little while just because I wanted to make sure that all of the pieces were in the right place. Some of the eucalyptus clumps, were a little bit differently colored than some of the others, so I wanted to make sure they were pretty well balanced. Also, some of them would fall off of the hoop. I think I either didn't press the hot glue on long enough or the hot glue dried a little bit while I put it on the cold metal wreath, so if they fall off, you can just hot glue them back on. Pretty simple. So once you're done hot gluing all of your leaves or flowers on your wreath, the last step is to give it a little haircut. So find a nice bare spot on your wall that is a good height for you to start cutting. I'm just making sure all of my strands lay flat before I take my scissors. This was honestly a lot more fun than I think it should be. It's like giving your friend a haircut. You can make this pretty much in any shape or design that you want. I just went for a really simple angled look and left all of my colored strands as they were. And there we finished our wall hanging. I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY video and that you have found some inspiration to go out and make your own minimalistic yarn wall hanging.